Hey, good morning. I wanted to talk about three things that really improved my posture that were totally surprising because I was not doing them to try to improve my posture. I just found 8 weeks later that my shoulders sat down lower instead of being up here in my ears. My neck was not super far forward from staring at a screen all day. I could hold it upright and actually have my core support the weight going straight down through my spine rather than being kind of hunched and curved with my belly pooching out, my low back kind of like a sway back mare, and really painful. It felt like my whole body was just hanging off of my low back, and that is really painful. So also getting my hips from being tilted kind of forward to being parallel with the ground, so that it could kind of support the whole weight of my torso and head. So, three things. First thing I did was facial massage, for lack of a better word. A friend was having a class. She had taken classes, I think they were called face yoga, but really what it is facial massage, lymphatic drainage. For me specifically, it was these muscles in the neck. It's called the sternocleidomastoid, I believe. The upper traps, and then the back of the neck. Massaging, releasing the tension in those muscles. When I first started my sternocleidomastoid, again, I think that's what it's called, was so tight I couldn't even grab onto it to massage it. It was so tight. But over time, I could feel those muscles releasing. And it gave me more, again, I think my traps just kind of were naturally adapted because of 15 years of working at a laptop. Forward hunched shoulders, and then just the traps way up high. So I was doing that not to improve my posture, but what I found it most helpful for was sleep. I am perimenopausal and it's really hard to fall asleep. So doing that facial massage right before I went to bed it makes me yawn just talking about it, but it sent me into like parasympathetic nervous system state immediately. And I don't really know like why it worked so well, but it really helped with signaling to my body that's time to sleep, rather than lay awake in bed and think about things. So that was the first sort of unexpected postural improvement. I was doing that every day for 8 weeks. And day to day, you don't notice a difference, but over time, you really do notice a huge difference in like the range of motion and where I was noticing where my muscles were able to sit. So the second thing is strength training. I used to do martial arts, Muay Thai, a lot of different kinds of martial arts, for 20 years. And then with perimenopause, the cardio, I just could not recover from the cardio. And, I would be in a group class and I just like couldn't breathe. And my fitness had not changed, but my body just couldn't do it the way that it could, from age 18 to age 38. I just couldn't do it. So I did some research, learned that you should really be doing strength training in perimenopause and less cardio because it raises your cortisol, blah, blah, blah. So I stopped doing cardio. I will do cardio now, but at that time, I think there's a lot going on. And sort of needed to stop and figure out my new body because the old way of doing things just wasn't working. So I've done strength training for probably a year and a half. And recently, I'm visiting family for the summer, so we are in a different location. And the trainer that I am training with had me do a machine. I'm going to try to show you, but you hold your arms out wide and you pull in this bar thingy on both sides, and it really targets this middle of your back, your rhomboids. My trainer was giving me really specific cues on how to hold it. So you don't hold it straight. You kind of hold it a little bit to the side. Even though the handle's kind of straight, you hold a little to the side. And it really targets right in the middle of your shoulder blades. So without her cues, I would have gotten on that machine and been like, oh, look, this is a workout, and like been done and gone on my day without actually activating quite exactly the right muscles. I would have gotten in the general area, but I would not have gotten that like really tight pinch right between the shoulder blades. And my mid back has been turned off for like a decade. Again, with like the laptop work, and I could not figure out how to activate it. I could tell that my low back was doing all of this extra work in part because the mid back was not contributing to bearing the load, but I like couldn't figure out how to get it to turn on. And this strength training exercise, which was not for postural improvement, but for muscle development, just happened to have the right trainer at the right moment who gave me this exercise. And it really helped my brain be able to connect with those muscles and say like, activate rhomboids, activate lower trapezius. So I can like now feel them turn on. And really like the whole rear posterior chain. So the neck, the upper traps, the rhomboids, the lower traps, the scapular stabilizers. And then when I do that, I can immediately feel my core engaging to support all those muscles that are firing in the mid back. And then the core engages. And then the next thing I feel is like the hips. The hips have to tilt back and down to support that core engagement. So now I feel very tight and tucked in and supported. And in my like normal laptop posture, I just feel rounded and hunched and, 3 months pregnant and everything is just hanging by one single string in my lower back. And it's just this like really targeted pain right in the lumbar. So, yes, not trying to improve that, but that exercise, there's one where you pull in and another where you push out, and both of those really help my brain be able to locate those muscles so that I can turn them on. The third thing that really helped my posture unexpectedly was mobility work. So there's lots of different kinds of mobility work. this in particular was stick mobility, and they're called CARS, controlled articulation rotations, maybe. Morning. And so this is where you move joints in their full range of motion. Cervical, so your neck, your shoulders, and your hips. You can do it with your fingers too, wrists, ankles. It's really intense. And I was doing this mobility work because I was doing kind of a very intense form of Pilates once a week. You're holding muscles on a moving surface on a table that rolls for 2 minutes, 5 minutes. It's really intense time under tension for muscles. And I could feel that something was missing. In my ability to in my range of motion to be able to hold those poses. I also have a shoulder that I partially dislocated in my early 20s, and I thought that might help improve my range of motion, because I do feel like I protect that shoulder, and that also contributes to the postural problems. Anyway, so this mobility work, you're moving in the full range of motion. So for the shoulders, all the way up, all the way down. When you get to the top or the bottom, you're holding for maybe 10 seconds. And the goal eventually is to see if you can increase that range of motion, just by millimeters. And then you're moving all the way forward in that lowered position. You really feel the stretch in the low neck. Then all the way back, then up, all the way up, and then all the way forward and all the way back. So it's essentially a shape of a C, up, all the way down, all the way forward, just back and forth. In the hips, holy moly. I did look it up. This is not just me that this has happened to, but when we do the hip rotations, internal and external, I just bawl, literally crying in class, snot running down my nose, heaving, crying. Don't know why. But it's a little bit scary to hold your body in a position that feels right on the edge of your mobility. So anyway, the crying is neither here nor there, and I'm really fine. It's just a weird emotional release. But all three were really critical in the mobility. The cervical, so that my neck could actually move back. You get all the double chins. And the shoulders could actually have that full range of motion downward. And then the hips, the front of my hips where the quads meet the torso, that gets super tight again and short from the laptop monkey career. So oftentimes I would feel like I couldn't get my hips far enough forward to get under me so that my torso was supported and my glutes would be able to engage to power my forward movement. So the hips are something that I wouldn't have thought I needed. I just needed all of them, and very fortuitously was doing the mobility work at the same time that I found that middle back muscle engagement at the same time that I was doing the muscle tension release in the neck and shoulders. And I was walking the other day, and I just suddenly realized, like, wow, I feel so powerful. My like shoulders are down, my core is engaged, my hips aren't, tilted forward, leaving me hanging. Everything is like zipped up. And this feels amazing. I feel so supported and I feel so powerful. And my posture is not normal. So I wanted to share that because there might be other people who have, like me, tried a lot of posture exercises. Nothing ever really stuck. And you just feel like, well, if I'm going to sit at a desk and look at a screen for 8 hours a day, there's like no hope, because your body just adapts to what you do repeatedly, and the laptop is not something I can take out of my life right now. But I'm so thrilled to have this support. It feels so good. And if you want to try something, the surprise thing is, like, you don't notice it in the day-to-day. I did not notice a change doing these things daily, or like the mobility I was doing once a week, the strength training twice a week. You just don't notice a difference, and then all of a sudden 8 weeks later you're walking like a beast, like a different human being. So hopefully that helps. Have a great day. Bye.